So thank you for bearing with us. We made as much space as we could. And welcome to the Bubble program, our Ben's Bubble Show. This is our guest, Ben Jiminez, and he comes to us from Bubble Land, or close to that, Chicago area. And we would like to give him a warm, horrible welcome in just a moment, but a couple of housekeeping things. Good time to take your cell phones, turn them off, to vibrate. And if you do get a call, you can take it outside. That would be great. And who's done with their summer reading program already? All right. Someone just said, I think I heard, what's a reading program? Okay, let me tell you, if you haven't had a chance to sign up for the summer reading program, this is just one event. There are lots of activities that you can do throughout the summer to keep your brains working. Okay, so welcome to our Bubble Show with Ben Jiminez. Let's please give him a nice warm applause.
Hi everyone. As you know by now, my name is Ben, and I'm a soap bubble artist. What in the world is that, right? Well, when you think of an artist, you often think of somebody who dances or paints or takes pictures or acts. Those are all artists. But bubbles can be an art too. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that in just a few minutes here. A couple of things as we get started. You'll notice the tape line. It's important that you stay behind the tape line, especially the people right in front here. If your little one is not able to do that, please sit with them or have them sit somewhere else. Can't have people running through here. All right? Appreciate that. Cell phones off. That was already mentioned, I know. Just so you know, most of the bubbles that I make are not for popping. Anybody can take bubbles and blow them in the backyard, in the kitchen, and pop them, and that's a lot of fun, but that's not what they brought me in for. The bubbles I make are mostly for watching, because I do very special things with bubbles. Safety, security. A couple of things, especially for the wee ones, for the little ones here. You may see me do some things with bubbles that you should not do. I may put some bubbles in my mouth. Not a good idea. I may put smoke inside of bubbles. Not a good idea for you to do that, okay? Or even try to do that, okay? So what's going to happen, I'm going to kind of lay out how this is going to go. The show lasts about 45 to 60 minutes, somewhere in there. I'm going to start off and do a few bubble tricks, hand tricks like that. And then later on, not now, but later on, I'll ask for some volunteers from the audience to come up here and help me. And I might ask some of the kids as well. So, be ready. By the way, I do the show, what you're seeing is, of course, my family kind of children's-oriented show. I do shows for all kinds of events. I do shows for doctor conventions where there's no kids at all present. I emphasize the science a little bit more, things like that. So I do all kinds of events. I do a few birthday parties, not a lot, because I'm a little expensive for that. I wouldn't pay my fee for my kid's birthday party. But I do all kinds of events. And as a matter of fact, the Iowa library system is so nice, and they set up kind of a circuit for me. I was in Moline this morning. I was in Salon. I was there yesterday, Coralville today. So they set up a circuit for me because to come from Chicago is a long way, and it would be really expensive for one show. So I'm very grateful to them for doing this. I have to tell you something I discovered. Back in 2010, what do we call scientists that study outer space? Anybody know? Astronauts. Well, the astronauts, they're more explorers, but they're kind of scientists. But what do we call? What's another? That's a correct answer. What's the other word for people that study? Yell it out. Astronomers. Yes, astronomers are scientists who study outer space. And what they discovered is this: our galaxy is a pinwheel of stars. Billions and billions of stars. And our star, our sun, is one teeny little star in this whole big thing. And our galaxy is called the Milky Way, yes. And what astronomers discovered back in 2010 is that sitting on top of our Milky Way galaxy is a great big giant bubble. What else am I going to say? There really is. There's a huge bubble. If this was our galaxy, the bubble would be almost as big as the top of this. It would be almost that big. It's huge. It's filled with green gamma radiation, and we know that gamma radiation turned Bruce Banner into the Hulk. Everybody knows that, right? Sure. Oh, yeah. Sure. Anyway, so it's filled with gamma radiation. This bubble is so big that if you took a flashlight and shined a beam of light, it would take that beam of light 25,000 years to travel the full length of that bubble. We call that 25,000 Light years, exactly the distance light travels in a year, which is about 6 trillion miles. It's a long way. So, we got your galaxy, you got your green bubble. It's filled with gamma radiation and the power and energy of about 100,000 supernovas. Now, then they discovered something even more fantastic. Galaxy, bubble. On the bottom, if there is such a thing in our on the bottom of our galaxy is another bubble just like the one on top. What are they doing there? Nobody knows for sure. But they think there's a black hole in the center of our galaxy, and that may be causing it. So, bubbles can literally be out of this world. Bubbles have been around since before life even. When the Earth was being formed from the primordial dust and all the Big Bang explosion and all that, when the Earth was being formed, and it was just lava and primordial mud and ooze and all that stuff, bubbles may have helped bring about the development of life on Earth. Because from deep in the Earth, things bubbled up and brought gases and minerals and things up to the surface and up into the sky and helped things mix up. It may have played a vital role in life. Bubbles are just cool. I like to tell people that my show is a combination of art and science with a touch of magic. And by that I actually mean the art of science and the science of art. And when you put them together in just the right way, it really can be pretty magical. Steps 1, 2, 3. This next bubble might remind you of somebody. What's this look like? String, super atomic, digital, extreme bubble making string. Besides making little bubbles with this, I can also make big bubbles, and they look something like this. Music? Please. Thank you. Two. I have one more way of making big bubbles with this, and I call it the drag method, because I just kind of drag it through the air. I call this a sculpture. Here, you can take this home with you. Go ahead. You broke it! Oh, man. It's all right. It's all right. I can make more. Let's see. Oh, okay. Here we go. Watch the inside of this bubble. I call this the double volcano. One, two. Did I mention that I brought my invisible bubbles today? Oh, you gotta see my invisible bubbles. Okay. Well. Ready? Okay, inside of there, I put invisible bubbles! Yay for me! What? Right there. Oh, it's a tough crowd. Okay, I'll tell you what. I actually made a mistake. I said I would show you the invisible bubbles, and I didn't show you the invisible bubbles. So let me do that trick again. And this time I'll take and I'll pull one of the invisible bubbles out. It'll become visible, and you know that I really did have them in there. Yep. Okay, right in there. Now watch my hand. At no time will my hand leave my wrist. Ready? There's one right about there. One anyway. Invisible bubbles. Right now I want to spend just a couple of minutes. If you have a question for me about bubbles or about science or about pretty much anything, raise your hand. This goes for the adults too. Any questions? Yell it out loud.
Did you have to go to college to learn about bubbles?
You know what? Yes and no. I didn't go to college. I didn't go to bubble school. There's no such thing. But the things I learned in college and in school, in grade school and preschool, they help because believe it or not, I had to learn about math, geometry, chemistry, things like that in order to be able to do all this stuff. So what I learned in school came in very helpful in understanding how to do this because there's a lot of science behind this that you guys don't see. Another question? Make sure you know what a question is. Yell it out. Yell it out. You gotta move on. Another question. Yell it out. Yellow shirt. Yep.
Did you make these bubbles?
I love the way. Did you make these? That's what I mean when I say yell it out. Did I make these bubbles? Yeah, I make all my own bubbles, pretty much.
I can make them.
Good. I'm glad you can. Another question. Yes, right next to her. Oh, good question. What do you use to make those bubbles? Magic. No. It's actually a formula. That's where the chemistry came in, where I had to learn about chemistry. I don't give out the formula. It's kind of a secret formula, although I'm not the only one that has this. There's about 25 of us professional bubblers in the U.S., and we all have similar formulas, but we all came up with them on our own, even though they're similar. It's kind of like one guy inventing the wheel, and another guy inventing the wheel, and another guy inventing the wheel, unbeknownst to each other. Good question, though. Yell it out. I can't hear you. Yell. How did I get these supplies? That's a very good question. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that question. Most of the stuff here is stuff I bought at hardware stores, Home Depot, Ace Hardware, things like that, straws, tubing. This was a pitchfork from a devil's costume. I just cut it. But all this, because I can't go to the bubble magic shop and buy stuff like magicians can, there is no bubble magic shop. So I have to make all my own stuff. All right, another question. You have a question? What is it? Don't cover your mouth. I can't hear you. Okay, that's not a question though. I'm only taking questions right now. Anybody else have a question? Orange shirt. Yell it out.
How did you make the smoke?
How did I make the smoke go to the bubbles? A lot of practice. I can't really tell you exactly how you do it because it's what's called a trade secret. And people in the world of bubbleology, we like to keep those secrets ourselves. Think about the guy, the magician who knows how to make an elephant disappear. Is he going to tell you or me how he does that? No, because he wants to be the only guy around that does that, right? Same with this. I'm one of the few guys around that does this, and I like to keep the secrets kind of secret. Okay, one more question? One more question. Yes, red shirt.
Can you make somebody?
Can I make somebody be in a bubble? We'll get back to that later on. All right, I have one more. You know what the question is? Did I invent the bubbles? No, bubbles were here before any of us were here. All right. And in just a couple of minutes, I'm going to ask them to turn the lights down in just a minute or two because I want to show you something here. A couple of minutes, just a minute here. One of the secrets to working with bubbles is that all of the tools, and you notice I keep sticking my hands, my stuff in the juice, all of the tools that I use have to be wet. Because if your tools are wet, you can touch bubbles. You can put things inside of bubbles. So I'm going to do some what I call bubble sculptures here on this light table. But I have to wet it down first so the bubbles don't pop too quick. Okay, can we have the lights down, please? More? You can turn these all the way off. Yep. Okay. Okay, good. Everybody, is it glowing cool? Does it look cool from out there? All right. Looks beautiful. Thank you for the lights. The dome within a dome within a dome. 1, 2, 3. 3. Okay, this next one I call the half and half. One, two. This next one I call the bridge. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we'll turn it into something else. Boom, 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 boom. Well, that trick is kind of misbehaving today, so I'm going to move on to another one. Okay. Okay, watch that center bubble carefully. 1, 2, 3. But you put things back where you found them, right?
Okay.
I have one more thing to show you here on the light table. Thank you. Lights, please. For this next segment, I want to talk a little bit about science and what science is. Now, I know science, here's the definition. Science is a way of figuring stuff out. That's what science is. It's a way of figuring stuff out. What's that big yellow, excuse me. Attention up here, please. Please. Thank you. What's that big yellow ball in the sky that heats and what is that? Well, science. Yeah, the sun. Science told us what that is way back thousands of years ago. How can I cure a disease? How can I make a better mousetrap? All of those answers, all of those questions can be answered by science. And science uses something called the scientific method. You don't have to remember that term. You just remember the science is a way of figuring stuff out. All right? And we're going to do that right now. We're going to do an example of the scientific method, but I need a couple of helpers to do that. I need the guy right there with the glasses. Yep. And I need the girl right here. And you can just stand over here, please. Okay, here's how science works. Anytime science is being done, it's doing some of these steps that I'm about to tell you. The very first thing when you're doing science is you start with a question. And I mentioned some questions. What's that big ball in the sky? How can I cure this disease? Whatever the question is, you start with the question. And then you come up with possible answers to the question. Just maybe off the top of your head. You don't know if they're right or not, but think of some possible answers. So, the question is, that I came up with is, can a bubble bounce? And I'm going to come up with 3 possible answers to that question. Or how can I make a bubble bounce? 3 possible ways. The first way is going to be bouncing with a dry hand. See if we can bounce a bubble with a dry hand. Second is a wet hand. I'm going to have him stick his hand in the bubble juice and try to bounce it with a wet hand. And the third possible answer to the question is a gloved hand. A hand with a glove in it. So we're going to try all 3. And again, in science, start with a question, come up with 3 possible answers, and then you test each answer. You test them to see which one seems to work, if any of them do. So we're going to test them right now. Dry hand, come on over here, please. Stand right there. Back up just a little bit. Come over here. Hold your hand out like that. All right, I'm going to drop a bubble on her hand. Let's see if it bounces. There you go. You have to touch it. You have to. Didn't work, did it? But when we're testing each answer, you never test it just once. You test it more than once, just to be sure. It didn't bounce, did it? It doesn't seem like the dry hand is the answer to the question, is it? Thank you. Wet hand. Stick that hand all the way up to the wrist. Stick in the bubble juice there, please. All right, back where you were. Hold your hand out like that, please. Oh. It didn't bounce, did it? Well, he kind of threw it. It didn't really. Let's try one more time. One more time. One more time. Let it come down to you. Bounce. Bounce. Come on, bubble. Bounce, baby. It's stuck. We'll do it one more time. We'll try just to be sure. Just to be sure. Let it come down to you. Try to bounce it. Oh, it sticks. And that didn't. He kind of threw it. He didn't really bounce. It seems like the wet hand doesn't work either, does it? Stay right there, guys. So our third possible answer is a gloved hand. That doesn't seem to work either, does it? That's why we test more than once, right? The first time it didn't bounce, did it? So, the question was, how can we make a bubble bounce? The 3 possible answers were dry hand, wet hand, gloved hand. Our conclusion is the gloved hand. We just did the scientific method. We just did the scientific method. Thank you, guys. Have a seat. So, whenever somebody asks you about science or what science is, you can tell them science is just a way of figuring stuff out. Okay? All right. Although I do need one more volunteer. Let's try red shirt guy. Yep. Come on. Yeah, you. Come on. No, this guy, the red shirt, this guy. Come here. Stand up on this side there. Here, buddy. One of the secrets I told you earlier about working with bubbles, I want you to get your hand real wet, okay? Stick it in the juice there. Stand back over there. Take your hand over the top like this and stick just the fingertips in there. Just the fingertips, right inside the bubble. Wiggle them. Wet hands, wet tools allow you to do things with bubbles, like stick things in them. Now touch it with your other hand. Just touch it. See? Wet hand doesn't, dry hand does. Here you go. Thank you. Have a seat. What's your name, buddy? Brandon? Okay, over here though. Okay. All right. Make your finger like that. When I count 3, gently just touch the top of that bubble. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Very good. Thank you. Have a seat. I do need one more volunteer. I need the girl with the greenish. Yep, you right there. Yep. What's your name? Hi, Paige. How are you? Excuse me while I turn the page. No, I'm sorry. That was cheap. All right. Can you make your finger like that? Okay. See the circle that I made there? That circle? I want you to take that finger and nice and smooth go in and out. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. By the way, I want to congratulate you. You guys are doing an excellent job of staying behind the tape. Most of us, anyway. Okay. I do need another volunteer. And this time, I need the little girl right there sitting on the table. That one right there. The trick we just did, I call the bubble volcano, whatever. We're going to do that same trick, except she's going to do the trick. And I'm going to just be the helper. It's easy to remember. Mind getting your hand wet?
Nope.
Okay, all right. If you don't mind, all the way up to the wrist. All right, back where you were, please. Hold your hand out like that, fingers together. Okay. About the distance here. Sideways. So watch my hand. Watch mine. Sideways like that. Make a circle like that. Now take your other finger in and out gently. Look at that. Very nice. Thank you. Let's see what else we got. I'm going to do a couple other tricks I want to show you, and then maybe we'll move on to some big bubbles. Huh? Okay. Wait though. Bubbles by their very nature always want to be round. They're always trying to be round. When I made that big bubble earlier, it was all wobbly and kind of weird. It's trying to become round. It's just in the nature of bubbles. And somebody asked me one time, is it possible to make a bubble that's not round? And here's the answer. The cube-shaped bubble. You take that home with you. Go ahead. This next one I call Galactica, for no particular reason. Galactica. All right. Don't smoke. Don't smoke. Are we ready for some bigger bubbles now? Let's do it. Okay. One, two, and... Bong. 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 Should we go bigger? Bubble in a bubble in a bubble. Should we go bigger? You guys stay in your seats. Keep your bottoms on the floor, okay? Stay in your seats, stay in your seats. Oh. Hold on. Are you keeping your bottom on the Can you guys stay seated? All right. You're already up. Please stay. Keep your bottoms on the floor. Is your bottom on the floor? Uh-huh. Stay seated. Stay seated. Stay seated. Stay seated. Not bad. Stay. Oh. Stay seated, right? Everybody staying seated? Stay seated. Oh, stay seated. Let it come to you. Let the bubble come to you. All right, all right, all right. How about a really big bubble now? I want to explain something first. When I started out, I showed you this bubble wand. And I said all this is, I think I said this, all this is a long arm with an opening that holds a thin film of bubble juice, right? And that thin film we stretch using air, right? It makes a bubble. That's pretty cool. Then that's what this is, a long arm with an opening that holds a thin film of bubble juice. And that's what this is. This is a long arm, actually two long arms, with an opening that holds a thin film of bubble juice. Now here's another secret about working with bubbles. If you buy a bubble wand at Walmart or somewhere, it's probably going to be made of plastic and it works fine. Except that cotton string works much better than plastic. Hold on. Okay. Stay in your seats, especially you people in the front, okay? Stay seated. One more. I'm going to try to make this one a little bit bigger. That first one I made is probably as big as we're going to get. I'll try one more. Okay, I'm going to do one more thing with this. Instead of closing it, making a closed bubble, I'm going to make a long tube. And I have no idea how long this tube is going to be. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, and 3. Oh! I'll do one more of these. I'm going to do one more of these, and we're going to try to put somebody inside of a bubble. Okay. All right. It takes me a minute to set this up. Okay. Now, as I said earlier, wet things are good for bubbles. So I'm going to build this bubble from the bottom up. So every piece of this plastic here has to be wet. Otherwise it won't work. So I have to take a paintbrush and wet it. Okay, we're almost ready here. Okay, I need the blue shirt guy. Carefully step in here, carefully. Face the audience, please. Put your feet together and your hands like this. When I used to be a waiter many years ago, we called this the fig leaf. You can explain that to your kids. All right, here we go. 1, 2. Thank you. Step out. I need this little blonde girl sitting in the back there. No, the blonde girl right there. That one. Come on. Give me 1 second here. A little maintenance stuff here. I can almost always get them out of the bubble once I put them in, so don't worry. Step right in the center, please. Feet together. Hands in front of you. Do the fig leaf. Okay, there you go. 1. Now she's tall. I'm going to have to kind of. All right. 1, 2. Thank you. For this last one, I need 2 very little people. Very little people. I need this girl right here. You. Come on. Oh, both of you. Come on, both of you. Come on. Come on. She doesn't want it. That's all right. You come. You come. Step inside here. And I need the Superman boy right there with the Superman shirt. Stand in the center. Stand in here. Let's see. She's taller. I want you to put your arm around him just for a moment. Don't worry. All right. Put your feet close together as you can. All right. Keep your arms in like that, and stay like that. Okay. Stay tight like that. Ready? 1, 2. Okay. All right. Time for one more. Blue shirt guy right there. Yep. Come on. Feet together. Hands in front of you. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have time for today. Thank you very, very much. You're an excellent crowd.